as much credit as we give to Rocks, Gabon says you can kill God Knights. Rocks didn't kill Garland, bro, which means he didn't know that hitting them like this repeatedly is going to do the job. He just figured what he was doing. Oh, he seems like he hurt, so I'm gonna keep doing this shit. He just didn't finish him. You know what I'm saying? Where Gabon has stated they're not immortal. We sent them packing Team Rocket style plenty of times, but they are not immortal. I'm telling you that right now.
With the Domi Reversi of Rocks versus this Herald version that wasn't actually directly Domi Reversi, are we thinking that the Rocks version was stronger in the flip in the power with Emu because he got directly Domi Reversi, or do you guys think that it's like equal because they both got power from Emu?
It could be. Well, are you talking about the characters themselves in general, or are you talking about Emu's?
No. I know that the characters are equal. I know the characters are roughly equally matched.
I wouldn't even say that. So hold on. Rocks died at a certain time. This is years later, which means
that's true. That's
got stronger.
That's
you got the Emu buff.
All right. Well, let me back up. I wasn't talking about the characters. I'm just saying getting directly Domi Reversi'd by Emu versus Emu taking over your mind. Do you guys think that there's a power difference between those two?
I would say I feel like you answered that with the question you asked.
Okay, talk about it.
If you're saying like being influenced or being directly controlled, if I have the power to directly control you and to influence someone at the same damn time, isn't me having direct control over you more of like a flex of my power? In the sense of like, we haven't seen anyone who has like a mark do dummy reversing whatnot, and we haven't seen.
Fool, you okay? Contextually, you're mixing him up a little bit. He's not talking about which influence maybe. He's not talking about. Okay, Reed, let me know if I'm wrong. You want to know if the influence of Emu doing the brainwashing, along with the buff from the Holy Night mark, equates to Domi Reversi.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I kind of leaning on Domi Reversi. But it depending on, I guess it depends on the person you become when the influence is given to you, because they both seemed like it was willing savagery. It was not willing savagery, but it was like Harold became a complete savage. Rocks, they both kind of became the same thing. I feel like right now it's still an equal play until we see it done another time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Were you gonna say?
I would say the only thing I can really like add to that, because like Nika kind of like hit it on the head and whatnot. I'm not gonna lie to you. Only thing I can add to that, I feel like the whole dummy reverse is more of a mass play card that you would throw out. You know what I mean? And it's like, say it gives like put numbers on that. Let's say it gives you like 100 base rip, right? But like if you are dummy, but like, you have the mark and whatnot, that's regeneration. That's like levels of like, I think it gives on like who the person is that has the mark and whatnot, because that adds like you feel what I'm saying? Like
I'm agreeing with Fuli there, because I do think, okay, let me say this. In likes of that, I do think Harold has the better benefit. You get what I'm saying? Because with Rocks, there ain't no healing factor there with Rocks. All we really know is that he had this crazy Conqueror's Hockey barrier that, because it amped all his moves, it amped his moveset, kind of. So he wasn't being taken, you couldn't get past, if you can't get past the Conqueror's Hockey barrier, you don't need to worry about my regeneration. You feel me? Where Harold didn't have a Conqueror's Hockey barrier, he just had the regeneration. So Oda, that's why I said it's still equal on portrayal, because of how Oda, like I said, he gets Domi Reverse, he gets forced to go all out, whether he wants to or not. He's going all out with a buff. On top of that, his skill set is very all his skills are being maxed out. Harold, we're seeing Harold fight. It's not really skills that are being maxed out. It's kind of like he does have that amp and the bruteness and whatnot, but he has regeneration. So the people that were hitting him, like Shanks was hitting, watch this. All the attacks that Shanks and Gabon were doing on him, they were hitting Harold, and Harold was regenerating. They couldn't even get past Rocks with that.
Yeah.
They couldn't even get past Rocks with that. So they would have needed either way, both situations require an extra force. Either Gabon and Shanks lock in and they become Garp and Roger in the moment, and then they unlock the critical mass right here and then, which we know they don't, so they have to go forward and get stronger later on in the timeline, period. Well, at least Shanks. I won't say all that for Gabon, but for Shanks for sure. Now for Loki comes back and he just does what he does. You get what I'm saying? So in this situation, like, you could say do you think Loki could have got rid of Rocks? Domi Rock
That was
spot.
my next question. That was literally my next question.
Okay, then you're consistent then on how you're tracking this. I like that.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here like, man, that goes back to why I think it's a little bit more impressive. That's not even the right word. Not impressive. That's why I like seeing this fight more. I feel like I was able to. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna sound. This is just gonna sound crazy, man. I like the critical mass thing, but I don't at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like I like it.
I think you do like it. It's the way that Oda delivered it to you. Like you prefer, like if Oda would have paneled out Roger, Ross, and Garp's fight the same way he paneled out this fight, you would be feeling the same way. You would be like, yo, this fight is top tier. What the hell is critical mass? Oh my god! But you didn't get that. You had to read it panel page for page without dialogue. And I know you're a reader. Even though you like the comic aspect, you don't want a picture book. You still want words there. Yep. There wasn't no dialogue in their fight. There wasn't a lot of dialogue with Loki and Harold, but the panels were all congested and given to us like bam, bam, bam. This is what happened in this part. This happened in this part. You had to go to the next page and you had to analyze the whole page, make sure you're not missing nothing. Okay. He threw him over here, but what is that actually doing though? You don't know that. You know, you don't know what's actually going on if they're not explaining it until Garp and Roger do explain it. Whereas with Loki, no one can beat Harold. They're all depending on Loki. Loki comes in and he just start manhandling him. No Conqueror's Code and no lightning being thrown around. He just ragdolling this guy around all the time. Granted, he think he's still using some of that stuff in like it's leaking, you know what I mean? Instinctively, he doesn't know that he's doing it. Yeah. But, because I argue that same thing for Rocks. As much credit as we give to Rocks, Gabon says you can kill God Knights. Rocks didn't kill Garland, bro, which means he didn't know that hitting them like this repeatedly is going to do the job. He just figured what he was doing. Oh, he seems like he hurt, so I'm gonna keep doing this shit. He just didn't finish him. You know what I'm saying? Where Gabon has stated they're not immortal. We sent them packing Team Rocket style plenty of times, but they are not immortal. I'm telling you that right now. Lock in because they are not immortal.
You know how much I hate power scaling, but when Garp was explaining the hockey thing to Roger, that put Garp a little bit above Roger to me in the context of he is a more seasoned hockey fighter, not more powerful. For the comments, he was more seasoned in understanding how to deal with things because he is explaining it to Roger. Roger has advanced Conqueror's hockey. He knows that. But Garp is explaining, he's like, hey, you are not doing enough to take them out. I am explaining to you. That's why I said I could see like this. Just in that moment, not anything else. I hate power scaling, but I was like, yo, Garp really is that guy where he's even explaining to the Pirate King, like, yo, you don't understand what needs to be done. Let me lay it out for you. That's all. That's it.
Just to say this to your point, it's still 50-50 only because it was Roger's idea to hit them with critical mass. So Garp started the ego contest. Like, I already know what's going on. Like, this is what you need to understand. And Roger's like, exactly, facts. You sitting, you cooking. So how about we do this? And Garp's like, all right, you cooking too. It's like a respect thing. Like, you cooking too. Let's try it out. So they're both of them. That's why I said Garp and Roger, people that are shout out to Anime Sundays, but a lot of people kind of crapping on Roger for the whole, Goon Piece, all that type of stuff, as Reed was saying. But after that chapter, Garp and Roger's stocks are up. Like it should have been there in the first place because we start off the story with those two as the pivots.
Yes.
But, people going, power scalers are going power scale, and it is power. Unfortunately, what we're talking about is directly a power scaling thing. Like these two situations with Harold and Rocks being domied and Harold being influenced. It is full on a power scaling thing.
Yeah,
that's why I had to make it clear.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say was the way Reed to this chapter in about the battle and whatnot is the way I felt about the whole God Valley and the whole critical mass and whatnot. Because you see how I really expressed that I really did like that whole critical mass thing and the whole levels that it brought there and whatnot. And so yeah, I feel like if it did have more, you would have felt more, like Nika said, because it really hit me in a way, and
Bro, that's something me and Blue talked about in the Discord for a while. Like 2 years ago, we were already speculating. Like me, him, and my guy Dunno, we were already speculating. Like hockey is spiritual. we have Brooke talking about the soul, and they dropped lore about the soul, but no one's actually emphasized on hockey and what comes from the soul. I was speculating that Conquer's hockey is the direct line to the soul, because hockey gives off spiritual energy, which has to come from the soul since it's spiritual. So if it's coming from the soul, then how do we get to that? Explaining that in One Piece, and it never clicked. Vegapunk had already talked about it, but I didn't click that. That was he's basically talking about that critical mass is drawn. I think it's drawn from that pool of that 21 grams of your body. One Piece lore, but it's also real life. When you die, the human body loses 21 grams of mass.
Yep.
People speculate that to be the soul.
The soul.
Exactly. That scientists speculate. If there's anything, if there is a soul, it would have to be that, because that's the only thing we cannot explain. Why, when you die, you lose 21 grams of mass? That's life. That has to be the soul. So I knew critical mass to me. I think it's soul hockey. That's just all I said. That's what I call it, soul hockey. But yeah.
If you enjoyed that clip and you want to see more clips on the podcast, you can click here. If you want to see the entire podcast, you can click here.